Everyone who writes the GMAT exam has the same goal: get a high GMAT score. But only a few people get it. According to the GMAT statistics, over 150,000 people every year register to take the GMAT test. Now, of those people, at least 50% take it more than once. So let's just say that in a year, right, the GMAT test is taken 250,000 times. Now, of that population, just 9% will get a GMAT score of 700 and above. Just 9%. While just 1% of the entire population will get a GMAT score of 760 and above. This tells you that getting a high GMAT score is a very difficult endeavor. According to the GMAT, of the 695 plus thousand people who took the GMAT test between 2017 and 2019, the average GMAT score is 570. 570 is the average GMAT score for the last 3 years. So you will definitely agree with me that it is actually hard to get a high GMAT score. But it's possible, it's doable. Many people have done it, I have done it. And on this channel, I share the tools, the tips, the strategies to help you smash the GMAT and get admission into business school. If that sounds like something that you like, that you don't want to miss, please subscribe to this channel and give the video a thumbs up. My name is Tayo, and in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you the strategies that I use to get 700 in the GMAT, which actually is a high GMAT score. So I'm sharing with you how to get a high GMAT score. The very first thing that you need to do if you are going to get a high GMAT score is you need to set clear goals and you need to measure everything. Look, getting a high GMAT score does not happen by chance. It does not happen by accident. You need to set a target and you need to have a clear strategy towards hitting that target. Let's say that your goal is to get a score of 700, get a score of 720. That's your overarching goal. You want to break that goal down into smaller sub goals. Goals like, I want to get 45 in the quant, I want to get 45 in the verbal. You want to be clear on what you want to get on each section. You want to set goals like, how many questions will I solve per day? How many questions will I solve, in 1 hour, right? I want to set goals like, after 1 month, I should be scoring this. After another month, I should be scoring this. You want to set clear goals and you want to measure everything. Measure your consistency. Measure your accuracy, right? Are you at a 70% accuracy level? Are you at a 80% accuracy level? Can you solve hard questions now? Can you solve medium questions now? Where are you struggling with? Are you poor in sentence correction? Are you poor in critical reasoning? Are you struggling with geometry? Are you struggling with inequalities? You want to measure everything. If you are aiming to get a high GMAT score, you cannot let anything, and I mean anything, skip your eyes. You want to be on top of your preparation. Another thing you need to do if you want to get a high GMAT score is that you need to understand the fundamentals. The way the GMAT is designed is that if you don't know the fundamentals, if you are not comfortable with the lower level questions, it is almost impossible for you to get a high GMAT score. And I explained this in the video where I spoke about the GMAT algorithm, where I said in that video, I said that, and I'll link the video here if you want to get more detail about that. But in that video, I explained that on the GMAT test is computer adaptive. It will start you at a medium level. If you get those questions wrong, you will not get the opportunity to see the hard questions. And only solving hard questions actually contribute to getting higher scores on the GMAT. If all you can solve are easy questions, if all you can solve are medium level questions, if you cannot solve questions in under 2 minutes, my friend, you will not get a high GMAT score. So you need to get the fundamentals right. You need to understand like geometry, the formulas. You need to get inequality. You need to understand the basic rules of sentence correction. You need to be able to understand long reading comprehension passages. You need to be able to understand different arguments and pick out, the correct answer in a group of in options of different answers. So if you don't know the fundamentals yet and you're just solving questions and just taking practice tests, you're not helping yourself because there's no way, right? I did it myself. The very first time I tried the GMAT, I left the fundamentals. I was like,
yeah, I'm good. I was good in math, right? I used to do third order differential in my undergrad. Like, what's algebra? Come on, I'm good in that.
And I did not bother with the fundamentals, and I was solving hard questions because I was like, yeah, once I can get hard questions correctly, I'm getting, you know, a high score. Fail. I scored 530, and I quickly came down to earth. So I'm telling you right now that you need to get the fundamentals smack down. Another thing to do if you want to get a high GMAT score is that you need to tackle your weak areas. Look, one thing that you will know about the GMAT, if you've been preparing for GMAT for a while, is that it's actually difficult to improve on the GMAT. So let's say that you scored maybe 650. To get an extra 50 points is very difficult. To get an extra, 20 points is difficult. And this is where many people fail, because they'll be like, I've solved 20,000 questions. Okay, no, I've solved 1,000 questions, but I only improved by 10 points. Right? 3 months have passed, but my score only improved by 50 points. I had the opportunity to improve my GMAT score by 170 points, right? And the only way that you can do that is identify your weak areas and then target them. So for example, let's say you've been studying, right? You've done quant, you've gotten to what you think like the best of your ability on that section, but you still need to increase the score. The only way actually is that you need to be real with yourself and identify, where am I weak in? Is my timing wrong? Like, am I poor in geometry? So for example, I wasn't very strong in inequality. I wasn't very strong in absolute value. I wasn't very strong in geometry, and I wasn't very strong in critical reasoning. And what I did was that I took those areas and that's all I studied. Like I went to the beginning. For geometry, I even got a book that is titled Geometry for Dummies. Like, because I knew that your biggest improvement on the GMAT is going to come from you targeting your weak areas. So it's not going to be easy. You're not going to feel comfortable. Like, nobody likes failing. Nobody likes doing something and not succeeding in it. So you have to mentally prepare yourself for that and go after your weak areas. Those inside them is where your biggest improvement on the GMAT is hiding. Another thing that you absolutely must do if you want to have a high GMAT score is that you need to use an error log. Look, I heard about error log for so long. I've heard about it on the CFA. I heard about it in the beginning of my GMAT preparation, but I ignored it because I felt, why would I waste my time solving questions that I have already solved before? It makes no sense to me. But immediately I began to use an error log. Immediately I began to review my previous questions. Immediately I began to solve what I had gotten wrong before. I saw my score go up tremendously. So if you have been ignoring the advice, use an error log, or you've not heard about it before, I'm telling you now, you need to use your error log and use it religiously. I have a video coming up where I'm going to go into detail about how to build an error log, how to use an error log. So if you don't want to miss that video, please press the subscribe button and subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss it when it comes out. And last thing was not to have a high GMAT score is that you must have a positive mindset. Look, to be able to overcome the challenge of preparing for the GMAT and everything, there's a way in which your mindset must be arranged. You must be persistent. You must practice grit. You must know how to pick yourself up. After failing, after a whole 3-hour study session where you only got 20% correctly, you must learn how to encourage yourself. And to have a high GMAT score, you need to have thick skin. You need to develop a very, very, very strong mindset. For me, when I was preparing for the GMAT, I focused my reading. I read 3 books a month, by the way, and I focused my reading on books that involved building a strong mindset. I read books like Mindset by Carol Dweck. I read books like Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. I read books like Grit. I read different books about building a strong mindset because I knew that the only thing that would stop me from doing well on the GMAT was my mindset. If you have a quitter's mindset, if you have a mindset where a little bit of challenge you've already given up, or you are not persistent, or you are easily discouraged by what you see, it may be difficult for you actually to get a high GMAT score. And another thing to just say to encourage you is that many people actually write the GMAT multiple times. Very few people actually write GMAT once and then they get their score. Many people have to write the GMAT twice or 3 times or 4 times. I even know of a guy that wrote GMAT 7 times because he began from 4:30 and he ended up at 7:10. He wrote the GMAT 7 times. By the way, you know you can only write the GMAT 8 times your entire life. Like your entire life, you only get 8 chances to write the GMAT, and this guy wrote it 7 times before it broke 700. So you can do it. People have done it before you. People are still going to do it after you. It's not impossible. So I wish you the best. I'm rooting for you. Bye.